Welcome to the Tough Decisions Network for Entrepreneurs. I'm Dennae Handford, and my wife, Dennae, and I interview successful people sharing stories behind tough decisions that they've had to make along their journey as an entrepreneur. On the podcast with us today is Logan Nelson. Logan, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Dan.
Logan, this is Dennae, and we really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. And we want to, first of all, hear a little bit about your journey as an entrepreneur and where your focus is right now.
Yeah, my journey as an entrepreneur is, it's had a lot of ups and downs, and it's still, it's hard. I think it's really hard. I think a lot of people think it's easy, and unfortunately, that's just not the truth. I think it's the hardest thing someone will ever do. So I first got out of college with an acting degree, and I had a real extreme desire to become an actor. Like, I really wanted to become an actor. I thought that was the thing that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And it was just one of the hardest things in the world next to becoming an entrepreneur. And I since then, I started a podcast kind of a deep need to kind of take therapy into my own hands and start talking to people that I really, really wanted to talk about. Talk to people that were having suicidal thoughts. Talk to people that were having eating binges. Talk to people that were having bipolar disorder. Talk to people that seemingly were, just weren't understood in the world. And so I started a podcast because of that. And since then, I developed a bunch of relationships with other podcasters. So now my main focus is to continue to develop relationships with podcasters and help people that are authors, speakers, or small business owners of sorts create content. And by doing so, I know for a fact that creating content will make them show up number one on Google. And when you do that, you now have the sort of go-to spotlight when you type in a certain word. For example, let's say, you're trying to get a friend of yours to get on a health kick for ketogenic dieting. When you type in Thomas the lawyer and ketogenic dieting, if he's on a bunch of podcasts already, chances are people are going to buy his stuff and his products because they've listened to him on a podcast. So I'm kind of that middleman that does the agency that connects those two people.
So have you completely turned away from the acting side of it? Or are you still kind of doing some of that? Or are you kind of like, if somebody does come to me and approach me about the acting, then, I could possibly jump into that? Or is that completely a, shift for you and you're just focused on the agency?
No, I'm solely focused on just the agency at the moment. I'm not really doing the acting at all. It's a hard business. And I think you have to be really, really focused on it if you want to do that.
Sure. It's definitely something that you have to be fully committed to as well. And even with this agency stuff, you got to be fully committed to. Any business like that, you're going to have to be fully committed. Are you familiar with Ryan Deiss and Digital Marketer?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you knew this or not, but we had him on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and it was a great interview.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So the thing is I'm kind of like I guess you could call me a career ADHD too. I like to be doing three things at once. So focus for me is just not happening. It's just not how I operate in my life. So I don't mind growing my business a little bit slower than most people because I'm able to do other things. For example, I worked on the street at a restaurant as well as a server. And then I take a really extreme care in still working out. And so I make sure that I get my workouts in every day. And so I spend at least 2 or 3 hours training. And then also taking care of my pops on the side. So it's I think some people do believe oh God, I got to quit my job in order to do this side business. I really don't think you do. I know for a fact that you can be focused and actually be better at taking just 2 or 3 hours of deliberate time to really focus on your business. Or maybe you don't have 2 or 3 hours every single day, but maybe you have 20 minutes Do you know how much stuff you can get done in 20 minutes that most people don't do in an entire day? So I really love the secret of the clock, setting the timer and going, okay, I got to bat out 25 new introductions to podcasts, or I got to bat out 25 new pitches to other podcasters and just get it done. Or maybe you don't even have a podcast agency. Maybe you're trying to grow a side hustle for coding websites. You can literally turn on your phone, turn on the Instagram, hashtag small business, and look up all the businesses that are looking for a new website. So it's like we just live in a great world where things are becoming way faster. And I almost look for things to do nowadays and rather, go, oh, what do I do with, gosh, I got no time to spend it all. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, totally. And I want us to kind of, dive into your first tough decision. And this is a tough decision I like to call the sore thumb tough decision. It's a tough decision that you had to make, had a really bad outcome. Even though it had a bad outcome, you learned a lot of lessons through it. So can you share with us that first tough decision?
The first tough decision was deciding to not become an actor. Really, that was like the hardest thing I ever did, just because for so long, that's the way I identified myself as a person. Logan Nelson, you're going to be an actor, right? You're going to Los Angeles, right? But no, the story ended up not going that way. And the way I got through it was really just focusing on something that wasn't about me. It wasn't about me. It was about putting out interviews that were about other people that may be having like a really hard time with their mental health or having a really hard time with other adversity. So that it came down to just really taking the focus off of me and shining on another spectrum.
Sure, absolutely. And, I know that, whenever you can, shift the focus on other people, then, things come back to you organically without even having to work for them. It's all about how you can add value to others. I talked about recently on a webinar that we did about how to network properly, right? I think, a lot of times we go into quote unquote networking to talk to other people about us. And really, if we go into those types of networking opportunities and talk to them in a way that, lets you understand who they are and how you can add value to them, then in turn, the value will come back to you as well.
Exactly. You hit it right on the top of the head.
Well, let's shift and talk about another tough decision that you had to make as an entrepreneur that had a really good and positive outcome and some of those lessons.
I'd say that I really had a hard time deciding that I wasn't going to just be doing this thing full on. Meaning like I was going to just quit my job and quit all. I had to make the tough decision of knowing what was good for my mental health, and working behind a laptop and doing stuff virtually and not having a face-to-face contact with someone really put me in a bad state of mind for a while because I was doing it all by myself. And I had to make the tough decision to just suck it up and be okay with being an entrepreneur on the side, and then also an employee, and go, hey, I have to be okay with listening to other people's decisions about me and making decisions, and actually letting people sometimes tell me what to do. Most people become entrepreneurs because they want to be able to make the decisions. They want to be the person in command. And I decided, no, I don't want to be the person in command. I always want to work for somebody. And entrepreneurs, there's another secret is you always are working for somebody. You're working for the customer. And I think being an employee too kind of helps you understand more parts of the human psychology, which it all comes down to. If you don't know anything about human psychology, forget it as an entrepreneur, I think, at least, for the fact that you're just not going to know how to handle it with people. At the end of the day, people make people happy. Things don't make people happy. So you need to know how a person operates and what they truly want deep down before you can do anything.
Can you talk a little bit about the strategies that you use in making a difficult decision?
I do a couple of things. I think it's really important to write down things that you're lucky for. And I use lucky instead of like gratitude or grateful, Because when you say, like, when you write down, like, I'm lucky in this one time where I got really lucky because, I was speeding and I went past a cop and I was going 65 and a 45 and I got lucky that I didn't get a ticket, or I got lucky for the very fact that my dad was in a position to allow me to live with him for a couple of months so I could get myself back on my feet and start a podcast that I really wanted to start and actually grow a business out of that. And then also think maybe I'm lucky that I get to just do physical things that I want. I don't have the perfect physical agility like maybe Captain America, but heck, I get to do some physical things that I really like doing. And so when you point out the luck that's happened in your life, you'll see it more. It's really incredible. And it helps you with tough decisions because you go, oh, heck, like this may not be the best decision ever, but it's a decision and it's just doing something instead of just doing nothing. And I think that really helps you with any entrepreneurial anxiety too. At least you just tried it. All right, did it work? No. And it sucks and it hurts. And that's why it's really hard for someone to listen to this and actually get something from it rather than listening to this and actually do something with it. So I think speaking out loud too, like all the positives about the decision helps a lot, like what could have come out of it. But at the end of the day, like if you, like my podcast is called Scratch Your Own Itch for a reason. If you're not scratching your own itch, like if you're not really taking any action on it, if you're not really moving forward, or if you're not making any physical decisions, then you're kind of just thinking and sitting. Albert Einstein, one of the greatest thinkers ever to come across our planet, said a great quote. He said, I thought, and nothing changed. But once I began swimming, everything became more clear. So
we're going to take a quick break and hear from one of our show sponsors. When we come back, we'll talk to Logan about some of his favorites as it relates to his life as an entrepreneur.
Have you ever thought about investing in real estate but find yourself so busy that you don't have time for it? Do you have FOMO, which is the fear of missing out? At HanfordCapital.com, we help investors with passive real estate investments that project better returns than traditional investment vehicles such as the stock market. If you'd like to find out more about our passive real estate investments, visit HanfordCapital.com. That's HANDFORD Capital.com. We will jump on a call with you to discuss your investment goals and to see if our investments are a good fit for you. This advertisement is not to be construed as an offer or recommendation to buy or sell a security. Visit HanfordCapital.com. And we are back. We are going to talk through a series of quick questions and answers that we call the trifecta with Logan Nelson. Logan, I want you to tell me about one technology that you use in business that is your favorite and it helps make your life easier every day as an entrepreneur.
Ooh, I think I'm going to go stupid simple and just say that the iPhone Notes app is incredible. I can categorize different things. Like for the longest time, I didn't know you could actually categorize, self-help and then contacts, recent contacts, and what else? I got old notes from stories I wrote, or maybe I do a category about finances. And I think just having those notes inside your phone and keeping notes, because you always have your phone on you. Most people do. There's no reason to take a real measurement of where you stand with all those categories.
Logan, can you share with our audience one quote that you've heard that has helped you as an entrepreneur?
Everything always works out. It really does. It's funny because I think we are not getting out of here alive. None of us are. And I think a lot of us think the world's going to end if, XYZ doesn't happen. And so I utter that sentence to myself almost every single day for every single hour of the day because inside your head, things are crazy. I mean, things seem way worse. I'm sure just getting out of bed and thinking about all the stuff that you had to do today to get through a single day is a struggle. But if you utter the words, everything always works out, you start to train yourself subconsciously and go, wow, everything does work out. Like, everything's always worked out. Sometimes it hasn't worked out the way where I wanted to, but everything's always worked out. I'm still here. I'm still on planet Earth. I'm still here to make people laugh, smile, be the best part of their day. I'm still here to take care of my friends. I'm still here to take care of my family, my loved ones. I'm still here to take care of myself too, you know?
What is one book that you've read that has helped you make better decisions as an entrepreneur?
I'm not going to lie to you and say that I would recommend one book, because I just think there's several that are amazing. I do think Peter Drucker's book's really good. I think that one of my favorite books, actually, I Am Keats, was really good. Incredible I Am Keats, written by Tom Azaker. I had him on my show. Oh, Tim Ferriss's The 4-Hour Workweek is a great book. But again, like, a book, like, really, it gives you an idea of this is what's going to be like. But it can almost exterminate you from actually making a choice and going out and doing it and discovering new things for yourself. Because it'll give you this idea that it's supposed to be like, quote unquote, like this. So I do think it's important to, though, do like little projects for yourself. Like Gretchen Rubin's My Happiness Project is a great book to read, just for the very fact of how to set goals for yourself as a person. And therefore you can then actually raise your game in your business and maybe relationships, which is, to me, pretty much everything.
Well, yeah, I think, any book that you read, any conference that you go to, anybody that you talk to or podcast that you listen to, if all you're doing is listening and not taking action, that's when it doesn't help. It's just basically a glorified motivational thing, but it's not really motivating you to do anything except for maybe you just continue to be more motivated. But that's one of the issues that I see with a lot of self-help gurus and stuff like that, is they pump everybody up, but not as many people actually take the action to actually implement what they actually learned. Well, Logan, thank you so much for your interview here. What's the next thing for you right now on your vision or dream board?
I'll be honest with you. I just want to be the best part of people's days. I just want to be the best part of someone's day. And that's all I'm going to keep doing. I'm not going to try to have this huge vision of, I want 500,000 employees and I want $1 million in my bank account. Like, I think as long as I'm just trying to be the best part of someone's day, I'm doing something good.
Well, how can the listeners reach out to you and follow you more? I know you said that you have a podcast, so how can they connect with you a little bit more?
I'll just send them to one place. Check out my LinkedIn. I'm on there the most. I think it's incredible to create content on there. It's so giving. So if you're not on LinkedIn, get in there. It's not usually the one social media place that most people send people to, but
So we actually have several on here that have done that. So that's actually a great place for it. So just go to LinkedIn.com, look for Logan Tyler Nelson. He has a podcast on there. What's the name of your podcast?
Scratch Your Own Itch.
Scratch Your Own Itch. And so make sure you check that out. And Logan, again, thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule, and looking forward to continue to follow you as you continue to grow as an entrepreneur and as you continue to help people, and possibly having you on a future episode as you continue to grow.
Thank you so much, Dan. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it. You guys are doing work that I think needs to be talked about more. Tough decisions. That's it. Decision making is everything. So I really take huge care, and please hit that subscribe button for anyone that's listening right now for this podcast, because, well, let technology work for you instead of against you. So every single time a podcast rolls out, you got the decision made for you. Hey, I don't need to make another decision that's going to take up bad space in my brain looking for the next content to really inquire about. Your decision is made for you by hitting that subscribe button. Oh, a new Tough Decisions podcast came out. Awesome. Sweet. So do that. Give them a huge 5-star. That would be awesome.
Awesome. That's great. Well, I appreciate you giving them that reminder. Subscribe to the podcast and also leave a review and let us know about what you guys think of it. Thank you so much again, Logan, for joining us. Looking forward to continue to follow you, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Likewise, my friend.
Thank you for listening to the Tough Decisions Network. Be sure to visit toughdecisions.net to gain access to show notes for this episode and to join our free weekly entrepreneur email, where we will send you news about the latest technology for your business, inspiring quotes, and the latest books for entrepreneurs. That's toughdecisions.net.